a former prosecutor. Lonnie, a survey that asks who would you like to rape, is that really covered under free speech?
It is to a point. And as a prosecutor, I would be all over this, watching to see how many people read it. The crime here that could be involved is conspiracy to commit a crime. So if one or more or two or more people agree to commit a crime sometime in the future, and in most states you have to do some overt act towards that crime, you can be guilty of conspiracy. Talking about it, no.
So they have to actually be planning a rape.
They have to make an agreement to do it.
But isn't it sort of a hate message against women? Isn't that kind of a hate crime?
Well, you know, that's a good argument, but still there's no actual crime. They're talking about it, they're discussing it. What would you think? What do you think?
Does the university or the chapter, the national organization have a liability in closing that chapter?
I think so.
Oof.
I think so. Well, here's the thing. Let's say further down the line, someone ends up getting raped, and the university knew about this document.
And they didn't close it.
Yeah, they could say, was it foreseeable that knowing they were having these discussions and this survey was going on and they were perhaps talking about it and discussing it, and then someone ended up getting raped? Was it foreseeable that that was going to happen from this discussion?
They had to do something. All right, University of Vermont students recently held a rally to denounce this so-called rape survey. The event was videotaped by the Burlington Free Press. Take a look at this.
Here today to discuss a crude perpetuation of rape culture and sexualized violence. The survey in question asked, who would you rape and why? Sitting right below the question, who is your favorite artist? The aggressive and violent word rape is made to seem trivial. And there are two glaring problems with the survey at hand. The first is that someone thought it was all right to write this in the first place. And the second is that it took an outside source to report it.
That student, Kristen Nelson, is on the phone with me now. Kristen, fairly impassioned speech. Help us understand what the sort of prevailing feelings are on campus now.
Well, right now we have a lot of student support from us. Even a lot of sorority sisters and SICF alums have come out in support of the actions that we've taken. It is an important thing to get impassioned about on campus because there is this rape culture so prevalent on campus, and there have been girls who maybe have been put in situations that they shouldn't have been put in that feel attacked by a statement that's been put out by a fraternity with so much power.
Kristen, I'm going to interrupt you if you don't mind. You said a rape culture on campus. Is that something unique to University of Vermont or something that you think is pervasive on college campuses? Which is, by the way, the kind of thing I've been very concerned about. That it seems like college campuses are becoming these little fiefdoms where horrible things are happening these days, and Sandusky amongst them, and none of the outside services are being allowed to come in to help you.
Well, I think the rape culture is something that's prevalent in our society at large, not just college campuses. I mean, when you have video games, TV shows, movies that express violence towards women, it's going to create a culture that desensitizes the youth to rape. And so using the word rape in a statement that's right under questions like who's your favorite band, who's your favorite artist, and who would you rape, it creates this culture in which rape is desensitized, where the word is just thrown around, and it makes it a lot more common for sexual assaults to occur, for people to not understand what is rape and what is consent, and it creates a rape culture.
Okay, Kristen, I'm gonna stop you. Lonnie is shaking her head vigorously in agreement. Lisa, you're the psychologist here. Is there that kind of pervasive attitude? The thing that strikes me is what if the survey had said, who would you like to murder? And I don't think men put, men, this is not so much a rape culture, but men ignorance culture. This is about male ignorance and not a lack of understanding of the incredible impact of the word rape on women. Would you agree?
I would agree, but I would also say these are probably the same men, young men, who would also not see having sex with a woman who's passed out or having sex with a woman who's severely intoxicated, that they wouldn't see that as rape. Rape isn't just someone coming out behind a tree and jumping on her and attacking her. That's not how rape happens on college campuses.
But a lot of college campuses these days, one of the things they have done is gone to great lengths to educate. You go on any college campus, and I'm sure, Kristen, it's the same at UVM. the UNE campus, there's signs up about, support
But
groups
clearly
and
that's
education.
not making a difference, because if this is in there, and some people say, oh, it was just a joke. I really don't think it was a joke. I think that whoever, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or more authors came up with this, they really wanted to know who's your favorite band, and if you could rape someone, who would it be?
And here's my concern about it, too. It's in the context of a fraternity, and we know that these fraternities do these hazings and these recruiting where they try and have their members do very crazy things. I could see this survey, this discussion leading to something that could have been some type of hazing event. This same fraternity back in 1998 had their charter revoked because during a hazing, they were asking the members or the potential members what they would do with a stripper they met the night before. It's this whole culture
and let me
of
just add to that. Even more recently, one of their members was arrested for using his iPhone to videotape a woman undressing in a resort that he worked at.
I heard about that.
Yeah, this is the same member from this fraternity, so this is not isolated. And as we're saying, I mean, there is a culture, and I don't think this is the University of Vermont, and I don't think it's this fraternity. I think and I don't think it's every fraternity or every university, but it's definitely out there.
Now, Kristen, my last question is